This is part 2 of a 3-part series where I go through 16 reasons why super is better than you think. If you haven't already seen part 1, please check it out afterwards. G'day viewers, I'm your finance host, and this is your Money Friend, a channel where I discuss everything finance for an Australian audience. As a disclaimer, everything I discuss on this channel are my own personal opinions. It is not financial advice. If you do need financial advice, go get professional help. Reason number 6. The age pension is not enough to provide a comfortable retirement. First off, let's establish what a comfortable retirement is. Now, I know this topic is fairly moot because one man's lavish is another man's frugal, but for the purpose of this video, I'm going to use ASFA's definition of a comfortable retirement. ASFA stands for the Association of Super Funds of Australia, and each quarter they release a report detailing the retirement standards of Australian retirees. This report breaks down how much Australian retirees spend on things such as food, clothing, entertainment, etc. Here is their breakdown table comparing between a comfortable retirement to a modest retirement to retirement purely off the age pension. I will post a link to the report in the description in case you want to take a look at the report for yourself. According to ASFA's research dated on September 2020, a comfortable retirement costs around $44,000 per year for a single person and around $62,000 per year for a couple. Currently, the maximum age pension rate pays around $24,000 per year for a single person and $37,000 per year for a couple. As you can see, it's fairly clear the age pension by itself is not enough to fund a comfortable retirement. For a single person, there is a shortfall of around $20,000 per year, and for a couple, the shortfall is around $25,000 per year. Therefore, if retirees want to live a comfortable lifestyle, they will need to rely on other sources to pay for this shortfall. So how will retirees cover this gap? Well, for most Australians, super is likely going to be either our largest, if not our second largest retirement asset, followed by our family home. Therefore, most Australians will use their super to bridge the shortfall to achieve a comfortable retirement. In summary, the more money you have in super, the more comfortable your retirement is going to be. Reason number 7. Super can help you maximize your Centrelink entitlements. Most Australians are aware that Centrelink are gatekeepers to a range of government payments, including the age pension, which I will be discussing now. As gatekeepers, their duty is to determine whether a person is eligible for pension payment, and if so, how much pension they are entitled to receive. The assessment they use to determine this entitlement is called means testing, and it involves applying both an asset test and an income test. Here is a simplified version of what these tests look like. Please note this table is based off July 2020 figures. Centrelink updates these figures 3 times a year, so go to their website for the latest numbers. If both your assets and your income is below these amounts, you'll get the full age pension. If your asset and your income is between these amounts, you'll get a part pension. And if your assets or income is above these amounts, you won't get any pension at all. Also, if the assets and income tests conflict with each other, Centrelink will only apply the test that pays a lower pension amount. For example, if under the assets test you are eligible for the full age pension, but under the income test you are not eligible for a pension at all, then according to Centrelink, you will receive nothing. In a nutshell, the amount of asset and income you have will directly determine how much age pension you will receive. Now you're probably wondering, where does superannuation fit into all of this? Well, according to Centrelink, super is not an asset until you hit age pension age. This means anyone below age pension age can place money in super to maximize their Centrelink entitlements. Here's an example. We have a recently retired couple. The husband is of age pension age, but his wife is below age pension age. Let's say the husband was the main breadwinner, and their only retirement assets include their family home worth $1 million and the $500,000 in his superannuation. His wife, being a homemaker her whole life, had no super at all. Here is how Centrelink will assess this couple. Under the assets test, the $1 million family home is an exempt asset, so it's not counted. Because the husband is above age pension age, the entire $500,000 in his super is counted under the assets test. Therefore, their total asset is $500,000. Under the income test, as they are retired, their salary income is nil. However, the $500,000 in his super will be deemed to have earned an income of $9,490 per year under the income test. So according to means testing, this couple is eligible for a part pension under both the assets and income test. Therefore, Centrelink will only pay the husband a part pension. Let's see if we can change this scenario a little bit so the husband end up with a full age pension. In this scenario, the husband withdraws $300,000 from his super, so he only has $200,000 remaining. His wife then deposits the $300,000 into her own super, assuming she can. With these minor changes, let's see how Centrelink will assess this couple. Bear in mind, their net worth hasn't changed. It's still $1.5 million. They still have the $1 million family home and still have $500,000 combined in their supers. All we did was shuffle their money around, so some of the money from the husband's super is now in the wife's super. Under the assets test, the family home is still an exempt asset. The $200,000 in the husband's super will still be accessible under the assets test. However, because the wife is below age pension age, the $300,000 in her super is not accessible, so Centrelink will not count it. Therefore, under the new assessment, their total asset is $200,000. Now, let's look at the income test. The $200,000 in the husband's super is deemed to have earned an income of $2,740 per year. The $300,000 in the wife's super will not be deemed to have earned any income because Centrelink does not see it as an asset yet. Applying means testing again, this couple is now eligible for the full age pension under both the assets and income tests. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is how you can structure your money using super to maximize Centrelink entitlements. Reason number 8. Superannuation is bankruptcy proof. I hope none of you watching this video ever goes bankrupt, but if you do, under the Bankruptcy Act, creditors can only seize divisible assets to clear the debt you owe them. Divisible assets includes money in the bank, shares or investments under your name, and your principal home. Luckily, the Bankruptcy Act also stated certain assets that are not accessible by creditors. These assets are collectively known as non-divisible assets. And yep, you guessed it, superannuation falls under this category. Bear in mind, this protection will not hold if you put money into super with the intention to defraud creditors. Let's say we have a business owner who sells snake oil. In the first year, business did quite well, sales are booming, so our businessman makes a $20,000 contribution into his super. In the second year, damning reports reveals that snake oil doesn't work, so sale plummets. Our businessman, being delusional, believes that people will forget about the damning reports, so he kept business going. After exhausting all his savings, he decided to withdraw $10,000 from his super via compassionate grounds and use the funds to buy more snake oil. And finally, in the third year, as expected, snake oil business is a dud and the business shuts down. However, just before our businessman filed for bankruptcy, he faked some income documents and the bank gave him a loan of $100,000. Our businessman then deposited the entire $100,000 into his wife's super account. In this scenario, can creditors claim the funds from their super? Could creditors claw back the $20,000 super contribution in the first year? The $20,000 contribution was made in good faith, and there is no evidence that the contribution was made out of character, especially if our business owner has a pattern of contributing into his super from previous years. Therefore, the $20,000 contribution will be protected against creditors in the event of a bankruptcy. In fact, any existing balance or contribution made into super before the point of bankruptcy is generally considered to be protected against creditors. What about in the second year? The $10,000 that was withdrawn from super to purchase snake oil. Yes, absolutely, business asset is a divisible asset. So creditors can absolutely claim the snake oil from the business inventory to recoup their debts. Because the $10,000 withdrawn from super is now outside the super system, the protection that super provides against creditors does not apply. And finally, what about the $100,000 deposit into his wife's super? Again, yes, absolutely. The creditors will be able to claim back the entire $100,000 from his wife's super. It's a clear case of intentionally trying to defraud creditors, so the protection super typically provides does not apply. Hopefully, this example illustrates that unless you are dodgy, superannuation is bankruptcy proof. As a personal story, I actually know someone who is pretty bad with money. He racked up a huge credit card debt that he could not pay back. The bank later sold his credit card debt to a debt collection agency. These debt collectors then started hounding him for payments. First they offered a payment plan, then they threatened legal action and bankruptcy, etc. When everything failed, the debt collector gave instruction to my friend to access money from his super to pay off the debt. They literally gave him a script of what to say, so his super fund will release some money under the COVID-19 early release program. The absurd thing was, my friend actually did it. He followed their instructions, withdrew $10,000 from his super, and used the money to pay these debt collectors. Anyway, I was livid when he told me, but by then it was too late. Reason number 9. Superannuation is an excellent estate planning tool. Okay, so we know super is bankruptcy proof against creditors. But what about protection against your own family? You're probably wondering why anyone would do that. Well, every family is different and dynamics can be complicated. First example, let's assume a nuclear family, 2 parents, 2 kids. However, one of the kids turned out really bad. Stuff like abusing other family members, often involving violence, crime and drugs. Some pretty nasty stuff. Let's say the parents tried everything to help this kid, but all their efforts went to waste. So in the end, they kicked him out so the rest of the family can heal and move on. The parents also excluded him from their will, so none of their wealth can go towards stuff like crime or drugs. The problem is, in Australia, it is insanely difficult to exclude your own child from a will. If the parent dies, this demon child can quite easily contest the will by arguing that he has not been reasonably provided for. Even this is an ostracized adult child with a history of violence and drug abuse. In virtually all states and territories in Australia, he will most likely succeed in getting the will revoked and legally obtaining some estate asset. Second example, another nuclear family. Let's say one of the adult child wants to start a business. So, the parents decide to give him his inheritance money early as seed funding to start his business. Everyone agrees, so the parents update their will to exclude this child. This entrepreneurial child, who clearly had already been provided for, can still contest the will, and again the courts will most likely rule in his favour. So this child will most likely receive more estate asset than what his parents originally intended. This is why good estate planning lawyers typically advise their clients to limit the amount of estate asset, thereby removing these assets from challenges to the will. So how can we do this? With superannuation, of course. This is because superannuation is not an estate asset, and it is usually not included as part of a will. Upon death, to ensure your super money end up with the family member you choose, most super funds offer a range of beneficiary options, including the almighty binding death nomination, which can be used to ensure your super assets end up with your intended beneficiaries. Hi viewers, that was part 2 of a 3-part series on why super is better than you think. The next part, part 3, is going to be the longest and the most technically challenging, where I will be exploring all the tax advantages super has to offer, and I promise it's going to be worth your while. If you enjoyed this video and would like to learn more about the advantage of super, please like, subscribe, and watch out for the third and final part on why super is better than you think. Thank you.